Hi, welcome to the Pacific Maritime and Heritage Center. My name is Steve Wyatt. I'm the Executive Director of the Lincoln County Historical Society. And we're in a very unique facility that has a history that goes back to the 1880s. It's gone through many owners, and it has a long history of being a private residence. It's been a nightclub and a restaurant, and it's been essentially an abandoned, neglected building. And we purchased this facility in 2004. And we opened it up on June 13th, 2013, the main floor of it. Today, this facility is the Pacific Maritime and Heritage Center, and it's full of historic exhibits as well as art, and it's also a community event center. And today I'm going to show you around this very unique and quirky facility. Well, this is the top floor of the Pacific Maritime and Heritage Center. Obviously, at this point, it is unfinished, and this is on our to-do list. We've already rebuilt the floor on this and re-engineered it. It had one section that was structurally compromised, and we've completely brought that up to modern standards. This will be a really nice room that the community can take advantage of for dances, fundraisers, all those sorts of things. So not only will we have exhibits here on a day-to-day basis, but the public in the after hours can use it for community events. I'm standing in the great room of the Pacific Maritime and Heritage Center. Historically, when this was the Scott Mansion, this was their living room. It was also a rec room. When their grandkids came to visit, they played badminton in here. They roller skated in here. They threw a rope into the rafters and played Tarzan in here. Now it is a gallery which currently has art and history exhibits in here that are portable. That gives us some versatility. When someone wants to use this for an event, we clear out the exhibits. There's dinners that are held in here, fundraisers that are held in here, and special meetings. So it's a multi-purpose place. And in addition to that, it also has a bit of a lounge area. Since we have like a tremendous view of Port Dock 5 here, we have a couch set up where you can just sit and kind of watch the world go by down at Port Dock 5, all the fishing boats coming and going, and all the kind of drama that unfolds down there on Newport's bayfront on a daily basis. We also have reading material here too, so people like to come in here and just kind of linger. The Great Room is a very dynamic room. Not only is it where special events are held, but it's also where we have art exhibits and history exhibits, which are constantly changing, so when people come back to the Pacific Maritime and Heritage Center, there's something different for them to see every time. That's our goal here. We're now in the Galley Gallery, which currently we have an art exhibit. It's a juried art exhibit. A maritime artist from all over Oregon and Washington submitted pieces for review into this exhibit, and we're really proud of how this came out. This is an interesting room in that the reason why we call it the Gallery Gallery was it used to be the kitchen. When this was a nightclub known as Gracie's at Smuggler's Cove, this was their main kitchen. They brought food up and down to the various floors using a dumbwaiter from this facility. So if you were to come in here about a year and a half ago or so, there were all the remnants of an old kitchen here. There were pipes running everywhere, kitchen ductwork running all over the place, and we completely gutted the room, took it down to the bare studs, and basically rebuilt this room. We did, however, leave the tile floor in here, which is original to Gracie's at Smuggler's Cove Kitchen. So that's why we give it the name the Galley Gallery. In the hands-on history, kids can get a tactile experience with history. They can try on a fisherman's clothes, they can look at charts and navigation instruments, they can try their hand at tying knots. They can do all that on a hands-on experience here in the Bay Gallery. Right now in the Bay Gallery, we have a community sharing exhibit. People from throughout the community lent us their maritime-related objects to share with the public, which gave us a very diverse exhibit in here. We have things like a Japanese diving helmet from the 1920s. One of the uglier and more historic objects we have in the Bay Gallery at present is this old crab trap from the 1930s. It's all rusty, it's in terrible condition, but It is actually one of the very first crab traps ever made. Before that, they used crab rings. This was one of the very first traps where once a crab enters in there, they cannot get out. And this was found buried in the sand down on the Alsea Bay years ago. We're in what used to be known as the Dungeon, which was a rather infamous disco in the early 1980s. And there's a lot of mythology and a lot of stories that go with things that went on down in all the decadent things that went on down here in the Dungeon. It used to have bars on the windows. There's also been some killer Halloween parties that were held down here back in the day. But right now we use it as a storage facility, and we're really excited to have this as a storage facility because for many years the Historical Society has paid on a monthly basis for storage, so this reduces our operating costs. This is a desk that was off of the Yaquina, which wrecked as it came into Yaquina Bay back in the 1880s. It's kind of beat up, but of course it has been shipwrecked, but it's one of those pieces that history isn't always pretty, but it's the story that really makes it significant for us. As part of our behind-the-scenes tour, I thought I'd take you downstairs. This is what used to be a bar that also had a little dance floor in it and seating that went along these tiers. And we gutted this facility and essentially completely rebuilt it. And what our goal is to turn it into a theater, concert venue, event venue that just has $1 million view of Port Dock 5 and the fishing fleet. And again, it'll be a place where the community can come and celebrate, the community and celebrate history as well. Downstairs, you are treated to a special view of the rock wall, which oddly enough predates the building that we're in. This wall was built in the 1880s. The rock was quarried up at Elk City, which is about 16 miles upriver from here, and odds are it was a combination of floated down here on a barge and brought in by horse and buggy. And the mortar for this is lime, which basically they took shells and baked them and then crushed them and turned them into lime. So that's how the mortar was made on site as well. And this was for the original house that stood on this site that was built in the 1880s by Dr. Bailey, and it was the equivalent of a multi-million-dollar mansion today. And that burnt down in the 1920s, and the building that we're in today was built on this foundation from the 1880s. So it's really quite interesting and speaks to the history of the area. The quarry where this was quarried up at Elk City, stone from there was used in San Francisco and Seattle and elsewhere because it was very famous sandstone for quite a while until they hit sandstone that had salt in it, and then it dissolved, and then its reputation quickly faded after that. Well, the Pacific Maritime and Heritage Center offers art, history, special events, and an amazing $1 million view of Newport's waterfront, complete with barking sea lions and a lively commercial fishing fleet. I invite you to come by today and see what all Newport and the Pacific Maritime and Heritage Center has to offer.